Hi, welcome back. My name's Newman. This is my life with plants. Got the fan going. It's about 28 degrees, 70 on the hydrometer, 70% humidity. It's gone down a bit. This is my tour of my bedroom houseplants. This is Philodendron Brazil. It had a big haircut not so long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and already we have new growth. Now this one I've been watering twice a week now. I have to be careful if the temperatures get very cool, then I will have to check the reservoir, make sure that it's got no water in it. Plants seem to drink more when it's hot, like it's been. We have a whole week coming up with temperatures 35 degrees, so. But I have given it a little feed in the water, and also a little it's a nice shiny new leaf, plus some slow release, but not very much. Okay, next up is this. I was just putting out this new growth here. This is my Hoya Carnosa Hindu root. Let's put this nice new branch out, and it's been many years since it's done that. It's been busy growing from its older branches, which are here, and this one is a new peduncle that it has put out this year for me. These blooms smell like chocolate, very fragrant. So what have I done different? Why has it decided to shoot out here? Well, I put dechlorinizer in the water, and also I take care not to let it dry out too much. Also, we have this shade netting up here, which is about, I don't know, 40%. I love sun catchers. Whenever I see one, I buy one. I love sun catchers. And this one here is Angraecum disticum. I gave that one a good soak today over the sink. And that one does get very mild fertilizer in the water. It's growing in sphagnum moss in this little basket hanging up here in the window. Next up is Ceropegia woodii, or chain of hearts. This one has been repotted once. It's still growing really well for me. During the summer I water it once. I do not have it in a cash pot or anything. And it has put out all of these bulbs, which is what Ceropegia does. If these touch soil, these round bulbs here, they start to grow roots and make a new plant. So they're like little potatoes. And I think I did spot a flower on it, though it flowers on and off all through the year during the warmer weather, and it's close to this sunny window. Next up is my big and very old fairy castle, Ceros monstros fairy castle, which I keep this medium moist, and just as it's coming drying out, I give it another water, making sure that there's no water collecting in the bottom. I drain that out before I put it back in the sunny window. This is Haworthia attenuata, I think, and it is a propagation that I took off one from outside. I love its texture. This is what is attractive about it, are these raised up white bumps. Just what purpose do they serve in the wild? It could be camouflage. It could be a way to reflect excess sunlight so that the foliage doesn't get burned, or it could be to attract more sunlight. Because of the summer and it's the monsoon season, I tend not to water too much, keep it on the dry side. Up here we have Hoya carnosa, Crimson Princess. You can see this lovely new growth coming away here. You can see a peduncle right there. I love the variegation on this. I rescued it from myself because it had taken a downturn. It has put out these new leaves. When I did propagate it, I put it into this small pot with bark and pumice. It's been doing much better. It's been in this pot for the past 2 or 3 years, putting out new growth every summer. Unfortunately hasn't flowered, although it has blasted many times, and that was because the growth that I had trimmed off, it was quite a large piece here, it wasn't taking up water, and it does have some water in the reservoir here, and it does get fertilizer. So the new leaves are big, and as you can see here, there's another one, but so far no flowers have opened. This here is a Tillandsia usinoides, and it is nice and luscious. I take this out twice a week and I spray it with my spray gun, and I add a little dolomite lime because these plants love a little lime in the water, which is calcium, magnesium, plus a tiny bit of liquid feed that's below a quarter, but you can tell by the results here that this is growing perfectly fine. And next up is actually a cutting, because I gave away a plant of this. I bought a plant of this for a friend to grow indoors, Peperomia Hope. I kept a small cutting. It has grown into this, which goes all the way down to the floor, almost touching the floor. And this is 4 feet. I've cut pieces off it and propagated it to give away, but I can't find anybody who wants one. Propagated this in sphagnum moss. It's all rooted and ready to go and growing. Next up over here is a Brazilian native epiphytic tree cactus. I don't know its name. It is on a tag. It's not on the tag, sorry. I had to look it up. Looking forward to seeing its flowers. It is hanging from a hook here. Getting nice bright light, but not direct. I love that. Over here, this old clothes peg, so I can take it off, take them out to water. I have 3 tillandsias. Tillandsia fuchsii. And this one down here, not sure. And down here, this one is Veliciana. I keep the tags on it so I can practice the names before they drop off. And I love my tillandsias. They put the tropical aspect into your home, and they fill corners and they fill empty spaces to make it more luscious. This one here, give it a bit of a turn. This is my big rescue Phalaenopsis that was gifted to me from a friend. It was in poor health, and I brought it back to health. It has been growing ever since very well, and it still has flowers on it. They're still going after 3 months. They're just starting to, the lower ones are starting to fall off. And it's a lovely white with this blush of pink on the petals. And then you have the labellum with the nice stripy decoration inside there. Next up, and I need to take this down so we can see it. This is Epiphyllum German Empress or Disso cactus. It is a little sensitive to excessive heat or direct sunshine. As you can see here, got burnt. This has an amazing blooms on it. When it does bloom, it blooms on all the little axils, all the little joins. I can get my finger in here. So every little node along the leaf produces a flower, and it's very bright pink. And I think it's fragrant. I have to move this to a little lower light. We'll put that one down there for now, so I can show you this other fill-in. I call them fill-ins. This is a basket I got from the Daiso, and I thought it was sphagnum moss, and I wired all of these tillandsias on to make this decoration of tropical plants. So we have many here. This is bulbosa. This one is Bailey. This one is Caput Medusae, which is very thick, and they do get larger, of course. I have a nice collection here. I'll just put that down. So I chose this hanger so that I can hang it on other plants or move them around. This is one of my latest purchases. It's a Hoya. The garden center got Hoyas in, and the newest leaves are very big and very healthy. I don't know what variety it is. I can only guess and probably make mistakes. It's producing a new leaf there, which is, luckily I took it down because it needs to come out to fully unravel. So it's been growing really well. Once it does bloom, I'll know exactly. Leaf got caught up. Luckily I took it down so I can help it along. May need 2 hands for this. Oh. pop the camera here. That's kind of interesting. You can see that leaf has gone through the little tiny hole. So, oh well. It needed the trellis to grow on and it's using it. So no problems. Okay, we'll hang that one back up. This is Hoya Matilde. It has been growing in here for many, many years now. It even has old stuff that I need to cut off. It got yellowing of some leaves. It does that when it's a much older plant, letting me know that it needs the pH tested, maybe some fertilizer added, maybe more water. So I did all three. And it does have a reservoir here, or a cache pot. So terracotta pot comes almost down to the bottom, and then there's a reservoir of water. I've been keeping water in there so it can keep growing, and I do mess around with the branches here, the tendrils. I try to loop them around, but sometimes when you do that it doesn't like to be manipulated and it'll die back. And dying back can also often mean that it's not getting enough water, and if there is water in there, then it's a root problem. So maybe next year I need to take it out and start a fresh new plant in bud again, which is really great. Is Hoya Sunrise. This one started dropping leaves off one part up here somewhere. I took it out to inspect it, but I could find no problems. The only one was it needed some more water. It was getting too dehydrated, and that is a result of the very hot weather we've been having. So now you can see that you have all these flowers coming, which means that everything is back on track, which is great. This is my big old Hoya Bella. Hoya Bella is a very expressive plant. It will express everything through its leaves, whether it's edema because it's getting too much water, whether yellowing leaves because maybe it isn't getting enough fertilizer, or vice versa. You've been fertilizing it and it would like a break from it. So try not to over fertilize during the winter time. If you do have one, don't fertilize it too much. Now you can see here it's got this nice new branch coming away, which means everything is back on track. Some nice new buds here and also here. It was dropping leaves left, right and center. They had become yellow, so I made sure it had water in the reservoir or the cache pot. Didn't stop dropping leaves immediately, so I waited a few weeks. Then I decided, okay, it needs more fertilizer. That was what it needed. In the winter, however, it was doing that and got edema, which looks like this. This edema was caused by excessive water in the cache pot when it didn't need it. And it was getting edema, taking up too much water. The older leaves on this are quite thick, so it's a very healthy plant. Now, another thing is if it was fertilized and it did have yellowing leaves, then the next thing would be to give it a good flush out with just ordinary tap water to clean out any salt buildup, and that will bring it back. But definitely during the growing season you will have to fertilize it again. Best to not over fertilize, keep on the safe side. Next up, another basket of tillandsias that are also on moss, and they have been busy rooting into the moss too. I have seen roots, as you can see there, and this one is starting to put roots into the moss. This dries out fairly quickly after watering. After one day it will be dry again, which is what you want. I have set this up with many layers on it, just like a jungle would be. Some high, some low. Sometimes I use a lot of ropes. This is Hatoria. It's an epiphytic cactus, and it has a yellow bloom. They call it dead man's bones because the stem between the node is very thin, and then it gets quite bulbous towards the tip, and they look like green bones. Or the drunkard's dream is another one because they look like lots of green bottles. But this is a fascinating plant, and it adds interest to the jungle here. Once again, I love, and if I keep looking online I keep buying them, so I got to keep my eyes off online shops or I won't stop buying. This is another sun catcher. It's a very nice one. Up here I suspected it had thrips. I spotted thrips outside on a cactus flower, so I gave it a good spray of 2 different pesticides to eradicate absolutely everything. And also I sprayed into the medium so I can take it up into the tissue here. So it's growing much better now, and this is my Tradescantia Nanook. And I love this plant. To me it's like a sun catcher, because when the sun catches the leaves you have all these beautiful colors that shine through it, like so. So I have it hanging up quite high so we can catch that light coming through those beautiful green and purple. Let me just put this here. Remember, it's not a mistake to take your plants down often. In my case, I have to anyway, because I've got to take all the tillandsias outdoors to water them. These are my much higher light loving tillandsias. So here you have one called Cotton Candy, which is a hybrid. You have, let me move my hand a little bit. Argentia. This one is Tillandsia tictorum, which is very famous for its beautiful silvery trichomes. And this one here is called Halacea. So these ones love higher light, and I've mounted them to this wreath. You should always check the instructions to make sure that whatever you buy doesn't cause your plants any allergies. I mean, any irritation towards the roots. Maybe it's got chemicals in it. That one is chemical free. It's just natural products to dye it. I just squashed the fungus gnat in the window there. Now I've got to clean it. But I do have sticky traps everywhere to catch them so that they don't get out of hand. Up here is another, I did a video on this. It's very painful watching it because talk about butterfingers, trying to put it all together, but I have shifted and moved them around quite a lot, and what I have done now is I have this coconut fiber. I have actually wedged the tillandsias in there so that they go through the bars and then they grow into it. There's one called Funkianum. It has beautiful red flowers. There's some Usinoides there. I take that out and I water that too. This one here, so I decided to put the rope up so I can decorate down lower in my jungle. This one here is Calistophylla, and I've just since mounted it. Give me a second here so I can put things back. Not to waste your time, but I tend to walk out and forget stuff. And then I come back and wonder, he's been touching my plants. Sometimes I don't even remember I was doing it. So I just have a habit that whenever I do something, I just put it back every time. All of these plants are hanging up so that they make this jungle effect. I would have more tillandsias, but I have all my hands full. 2 to 3 mornings of the week, all dripping from my fingers. Many tillandsias when I take them out to water them. So I need 2 hands to do this, so let me just do that. It's got a tillandsia Usinoides dangling from it. So here we have, I hope you can see well, this is Hoya Calistophylla, and it's been growing so well that I have put this piece of plastic crap on the back of it. It's all I have. I just utilize what I have, what materials I have. I try not to go out and keep buying more because I'm a hoarder. And I hoard enough as it is, so I try to use what I have. And this is just to support the plant here so that it can grow these runners and flower. And if I need to, I can always take cuttings and start a new plant in the future, so no big deal. And we had a nice Usinoides hanging there. I've had this plant along with that other new Hoya for about couple of months now. They've been growing really well for me. Just give me a minute and I will just be back with you. I just need to hang the plant so I don't forget. There we are. So it was hanging much higher, and then I put the rope there so I can hang it at this level to fill in this space so that it looks more balanced. In these, sorry to say, toothbrush holders, they were just the right thing for me. I grew tillandsias. Got a couple of stakes in there so they don't fall out. They're in the moss, but I let the moss dry out so I don't have it soaking wet. But it is in an area where the sunlight that does come in, the filtered light, dries them out. So I'm looking forward to when it becomes a big bunch. Let me fill this space here to make it look great. And down at this level with this very long cord, starting from there, going all the way down. On this level of my jungle is my Nepenthes Gaia. And something I checked, and I'm glad I did a little research. Once you get your pitchers forming, you should put water in them about halfway. If you don't, the pitcher will just abort. So you need to keep water in them. You can see this one's still got water. And of course, I do my best to keep the humidity around the roots by having this container with the wire and the hook to keep more humidity around the plant. Down here in this container that I've opened up because it was actually far too humid, but it will serve its purpose in the winter, is Venus flytrap that I fed. And it is in the pot is sitting in sphagnum moss that is very wet, and I try to use rainwater, so I place the containers outside that collect rainwater. Next to this is my owls. I like owls, so I always pick up many owls, and these ones are actually planters, but inside the planter is a small pot with an orchid. These are ground orchids. This one still has a flower that we can see here. It's been flowering really well, actually, longer than I expected. And it will die down to its tubers, which need to be kept ever so slightly moist. Next up, it's been planted in sphagnum moss, is my jewel orchid. So all of this is its new growth. The sphagnum moss is kept moist, and it has new bulbs and new branches that are growing underneath the moss that should pop up soon. This is Laboria socialis. Succulent from South Africa. I love its silvery leaves. And this mustard pot next to it is my not very tall Cylindrica Sansevieria. Next to that is my Miltonia biwa. And right here it has flower spikes, 1 and 2. I am expecting more because of the bulbs. It's growing on bark, and I water it regularly. There's another ground orchid. This is my grey honey Sansevieria. It's a miniature. I love the color of that. And last but not least is a Haworthia. Spider Haworthia. Which I keep here at the bottom. And hanging here is a Haworthia retusa, I'm sure, which I keep in this pot here. So we back off, we see the whole thing. This is my bedroom, and I love it. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.